Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Wealthy Habits, the channel where we break down the psychology of money, financial behavior, and smart spending habits. And today's presentation is one of the most eye opening ones. And we're talking about why you spend money without even realizing it, the motives behind it, and most importantly, the psychology behind your purchases and everything that drives you to your purchases. But because before spending becomes a financial issue, it's a psychological one. So let's get started. Now, let's start with a reality check. And I would like to ask you if you've ever wondered where your money disappears each month without you noticing. Did you know that the average person wastes more than $200 a month without noticing? And more than half of unplanned purchases are impulse driven. So overspending isn't random, it's invisible, it's silent, and deeply psychological. So before we break everything down, here's the big question. What's really happening beneath the surface when we spend? Now, let's elucidate this even further. So, when it comes to money, we are influenced by three major psychological forces. And these three forces are crucial. And the first is the social force. So this happens because we mirror the lifestyle of others around us. We compare, we match, and we try to fit in. So influences from peers, society, and cultural norms, such as keeping up with the specific family. And the second reason is, of course, the cognitive force. This is where emotions take over logic. So, dopamine, mood changes, impulse energy, they all step in. Emotional impulses and brain shortcuts that affects decisions, what you originally called emotions. And the third reason, of course, is the structural force. These are the routines and environments that silently guide spending and often without our awareness. Habits, routines, and environmental triggers that unconsciously guide spending, what you originally call habits. So, understanding these three forces is the foundation of understanding your financial behavior. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Most people believe their spending is controlled by things like their budget, their income, or their discipline. But in reality, spending is driven by emotions, habits, triggers, and social pressure. The things we think matter actually matter the least, and the things we ignore are the ones in control. And now let's break down each of these forces in the real world. And the first social reason is a social comparison. And this is when we spend to match the lifestyle of friends, colleagues, co workers, or even strangers. We buy things not because we need them, but because we don't want to feel behind or less successful. This is one of the strongest subconscious pressures shaping our spending. And it doesn't stop there. And the next reason is identity signaling. We buy things to look polished, competent, or put together. It's psychology, and this is called presentation of self, and it's powerful. So our purchases attack themselves to our image, and the put together persona becomes something we try to maintain. And from here, let's move on to the cognitive side. This is one of the biggest reasons we overspend, and it's an emotional spending because we buy when we are stressed, we buy when we are bored, and we buy when we are overwhelmed. And in these moments, shopping becomes emotional relief. It gives us a short-term escape, and that escape feels more valuable than the item itself. Now, next is dopamine-driven impulse spending, and this is where instant gratification overrides logical thinking. The excitement of buying is a reward on its own, and microdopamine loops keep pulling you back for more. This is how small, quick purchases quietly add up. And now let's shift into the structural side. The structural reason one is, of course, our habit loops. Habits drive more spending than awareness ever does because spending becomes a routine. Automatic behavior overrides intention, familiar patterns feels safe, and your brain simply chooses the easiest default. And finally, the environment plays a major role too. So, because marketing is designed to bypass your logic and target your emotions, colors, layouts, limited time offers, and app notifications all create urgency. So, your environment silently pushes you to spend before you even think about the decision. And now, let's pause and reflect before we continue. So, which of these reasons affect you the most? Where do you see yourself overspending? And what emotional triggers do you notice in your daily life? Now, think about it for a moment. This awareness will help the rest of the presentation make much more sense. And let me know in the comments which of these reasons hit you the most. I'll be glad to see your responses. And here's a quick snapshot of what we've learned so far. Spending is emotional driven. Social influence shapes behavior. Habits and triggers control most of our purchases. And marketing exploits psychologically weak spots. So understanding this is the first step toward changing it. And now let's clear up the biggest misconceptions. Myth number one is that I overspend because I'm irresponsible. Of course, it's not true because in reality, your brain simply follows emotional shortcuts. Myth number two is that more income automatically means more savings. Absolutely no, because lifestyle creep rises when income unless controlled. And myth number three is that impulse buying is a lack of discipline. But actually, it's a dopamine driven response loop. So, what can you do? Use the 10-second rule to interrupt impulses, move spending apps into folders to remove triggers, identify your emotional spending times, and replace shopping with healthier dopamine activities. And before we wrap up, here's how you can stay connected. If you found this breakdown valuable, don't forget to like and comment on this video. Subscribe for weekly insights on financial psychology, turn on notifications, and share this video with someone who needs a mindset shift. And now, let me thank you properly. Thank you so much for watching and thanks for being here. I appreciate your time and your trust. Stay tuned for more content on the psychology of money, financial habits, and smarter daily decisions. I'll see you in the next video. And until then, remember, awareness is the first step to wealth.